Today I'm going to show you how to bulk assign worksets to your Revit elements using Dynamo. Hi and welcome to BIM Lounge. Here's a typical scenario. You take over a project, but you realize that either no worksets were created or they were created, but they weren't used properly. Now in this video, we're going from this condition to a more organized project that can bring you better performance, coordination, and work sharing. Now, if you are yet to create worksets in your project, I made a video that shows how to automate this process in Dynamo, and I'll put a link in the description. Now, let's dive into part one of assigning worksets to specific elements. Let's get to work. To start off, let's set up our 3D view so we can get a good visual of the worksets. Now, to do this, I created this workset view, which is essentially a working view that has a section box applied to it. This will allow us to visualize all worksets changes in real time. And let's use the Worksharing display as a workset, and you'll see that all the elements are under the workset one. Now let's look at the worksets that we have available in this project. These are just sample worksets, but we're going to use the first 4 worksets here. Moving to Dynamo, let's make sure that we're running on manual. And for this exercise, I created a few groups of categories just to speed things up. Essentially under interiors, I put casework, ceilings, and so on. You may have to create a strategy and customize these groups per your needs or per your project. Now let's focus on the first group, and all the groups are going to be the same or very similar. Now we want to start from the final node, which is set parameter by name. And that will need elements, which are our Revit elements, and then parameter name, which is workset. That is actual parameter name. And then as value, we'll need a list of available worksets in the project. And to do this, we'll need the Archilab package. And we'll need worksets, and workset ID. Now, for example, the first group was interior, so we're going to pick interior, and then we can feed this to workset ID, which will return a text as value. Now let's analyze our elements because we're actually starting from categories. So let's make sure that we have all the elements in our category. And obviously we can paste this as many times as we need it. Let's go ahead and connect these. Obviously these are all individual items, so we need to create a list. And we need 5 items. And now we need to flatten this list so we get one level of items. And now all these items are ready to be input into the final node. Okay. Now we're expecting for some of the interior items to switch to a different workset, hence a different color. Let's try it. Good. So at least as a visual, it seems like furniture got on the right workset. Let's create similar nodes for all the other groups. Okay, so now that we applied this same node structure to all the other groups, let's verify the custom parameters that we changed. For interiors, obviously we changed the workset name to interior, and the same goes for envelope, shared levels and grids, and site. Now we should be ready to run. Okay, so you see some more colors started to pop up, so that's a good sign. Now let's head over to Dynamo because there's a warning. And we see that Revit wasn't able to assign worksets to a couple of elements here. What I've noticed is that there may be some elements that are dependent from other ones. For example, we have a couple of pads in this project, and for each pad you get a corresponding topography element which is dependent from the pad itself. So for example, this topography is dependent from this tab. So if you go look at it, you can change this pad within Revit, but if you select the corresponding topography, it's locked. So that's Dynamo telling us I wasn't able to change the worksets, but in reality, because they're dependent, all the elements were assigned a workset. Now that we've analyzed some of the most intuitive categories, in part 2, we will look at the same process but applied to items like walls that may require a deeper strategy. Think of distinguishing exterior walls from interior walls. Now, let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.